Okay. Identify the pair of numbers that satisfy the relationship. So if you want them to satisfy,
I'm already done.
so first off, it is the bottom half. That's the shaded region. So when you want it to satisfy, what does that mean?
It needs to be in that shaded area.
It needs to be in that shaded area. So, you do need to know how to plot a point. So when a point is y then x or x then y?
X and Y.
X then y. So, and that was work. Okay. So -2, -3, is that in the shaded region?
Yes.
Yeah, so -2, -3, so this is point A. So A's in it. How about B?
Yes.
B's in there, -3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so about right here. That's your B. And how about E? E's the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 0. Very good. And it is a little bit difficult to see the shaded region, so the shaded region is below. Okay, number 2. And so what do you need to know about the graph?
That it needs to be like a solid
It has to be
line.
solid.
It has to be solid, so that means we can omit B and D. And you can a little bit see that this is your shaded region and this one. And what does that symbol say?
Greater
Greater than. And so what was my answer?
C.
C.
Oh.
Greater than. So again, those of you who struggle with that, use the L. That's L, and that's your less than symbol. Swish your L. Number 3. What do y'all think?
B. D. B.
So what's wrong? So is B? So my shaded region is below, so it should be less than. Is B less than?
No.
No. So it's not A or B,
C.
and so it has to be either C or D.
D. It's C because if you look, if you go the line -6 with 50 and 150, divide that by.
Okay, but
It's
C
negative
is a
slope.
positive slope. Is the line going up?
No,
So
it's
remember,
negative.
you read left or right, and you're gonna walk left or right. So that guy's walking up.
No, it's going down today.
So it is D. And so let's see. Yep. So we have the positive 150, and the line is going down. So the answer is D. So again, if you struggle on those, then you put them in y equals, and you look for, as long as you figure out if it's less than or greater than, go to y equals and get a coordinates. So when we're at 60, -2 times 60 is -120, so 150 minus 120 equals 30. And would that be a reasonable coordinate for that point? 30? Yeah. Okay, number 4. Write the inequality. So, she decides to purchase some knacks, which is your X, and carazes, but she could only buy at most 6 carazes. So did she buy any naxes? No. So what's my equation?
Y equal less than or equal to 6.
Very good. Less than or equal to 6. Because if we're looking for an inequality, we know we're going to be dealing with less than or greater than. And why is it less than?
Because it says most.
At most.
At most. Okay. So if we can have, again, my example was, if you can have at most 30 people in here, what happens if we have 1,000?
We die.
You die, exactly. No. So you don't want to have more. Okay. So again, on A, B, C, and D, I have an easier time looking at it and deciding. So I'm going to jump down to my graph. And so is it going to be is it a ray or a segment?
Ray.
Ray.
array. And those are my only two choices. Why?
It goes up or down.
Those are the only ones. It goes horizontal.
Is there negatives? When there's no negatives, then you can't use a line when it comes to linear. So this one's going to be array, and we're going to start where?
6.
When y equals 6 or x equals 6? Y, because we're buying carazes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so we're going to draw a line. And which way are we shading? Down. And of course our app does the dots, but we're just shading down as far as on here. And so so when you're looking at your choices on number 4, what are we looking for? So we want it to be true or false? True. Okay. So so are we going to be looking at the x or the y? The y. So if our y needs to be less than 6, is 8 going to work? No. Is 10? No. Is 9? No. Does it matter what, how many umps he bought? No. Our answer is B. Is that the only answer? No. So our y value could be 6 or less. Okay, number 5. We're going to do this one by hand, and then I'm going to show you by calculator also. Same with number 6. So what do we do first by hand?
We get rid of the parentheses.
Terrell, can you grab number 20 for me? It's on my desk. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I need it because it's turned down. Okay, so -10 times -1 is
Positive
10p. -10 times -13, 130. Minus 3p equals 1. And so what is 10p minus 3p?
7p. 7p.
Did I mess up somewhere?
Is it not still negative p though? I mean, oh, never mind. Sorry.
So the parentheses did not include the negative 3p, so therefore the negative 3p doesn't change. So these two are on the same side, and your sides are with your equal. And I need to stop using green. And so we're going to get rid of one term. What are we going to get rid of?
The 3p.
No, we're going to add those two together.
Oh, the 130.
130. Okay, so whatever, if it's positive over here, it's going to be negative over here. And what is 10 minus 3?
7.
7. So negative 130 plus 1 equals what?
Negative 1.
Negative 129. Perfect. And I lost my p. Bring my equal sign down. What's my last step? Divide. And did 7 go into negative 129?
No.
No. And so that is my answer. P is equal to negative 129 divided by 7. And because it is a 7, does the calculator, as far as fractions, does it like the 7s?
No.
No, so I'm not even going to do that one by calculator. Okay, number 6. What's the first thing we need to do?
3 times 8, 3 times.
Yep, distribute. So negative 3 times 8 is
24.
negative 24. Negative 3 times negative 9.
27.
Positive 27x equals negative 6 times negative 2.
12.
12. Negative 6 times negative 4.
24.
Positive 24x. And I messed that up. Okay. And it is an equal. So what are we supposed to do now?
We
We distribute, or we get one thing by times.
Well, we can't combine them because they're not on the same side. So these are our sides. Which x is smaller?
The 24, so we do minus 24.
Minus 24 on both sides. And 24x, because I can't just subtract the 24, so that's going to go away. So do I want to get rid of the 12 or the negative 24?
12.
If I get rid of the 12, what's going to be on this side?
Nothing, so negative 24.
Because my goal is to get x by itself, so I need to get rid of the negative 24 because I'm bringing my x's to the left. So opposite of negative 24 is positive 24. Why do we write what we're doing on both sides?
So it can contribute.
So we can cancel out, and if we do the wrong operation, is it easier to catch it when we can see what we did? Yep. So 24 minus 24 goes away. 27 minus 24x, 3x equals
36 on the other side.
36. And then opposite of multiplying is dividing. And what does x equal? 12. Okay, so calculator. So to do this by calculator, you put the left side in y1, and it doesn't matter what the variable is. What's the variable? X. So negative 3, 8 minus 9x, and negative 6, negative 2 minus 4x, close the parentheses. So left side in y1, right side in y2, graph. And then where? Damien, where do we go? Okay, so if you don't remember it, are you going to be able to use it for your test? No. So you're going to do
Calculate.
correct. Second, calculate. So left side in y1, right side in y2, and use x only, right? And we're going to go to second calc, which is on the top, and after we graph. And we're going to go where?
Down to intersect.
Down to intersection. And enter,
Enter.
1, 2, 3. And so I got an error. So if you get an error, you need to go to your window and increase it.
Add a 0 to the end of it.
Perfect, yeah. You just need to make it bigger. And sometimes, even though you can't see it, it'll still give it to you, and sometimes it doesn't, and I'm not for sure why. And so I'm just making the window larger, and how do we go back to normal?
Oh, second quit.
That's how you get out of it, but Zoom standard will take you back to a normal window. So second, calculate, number 5 again, enter, 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 and then it gives it to us. So the intersection is when x equals 12. And of course, we already knew the answer. So if we look at 12, and this is how, when you're dealing with multiple choice, you know exactly where to look. So when it's your answer, what's true about the y? Are they different or the same?
Different.
There's
So let's get our calculator a little bit bigger. Oop, wrong way.
Oh, yeah, they're different. See?
No,
They're the same.
they're the same. 300 and 300 at 12. So our answer is 12. So let's do an easy one. What is, let's see. So x plus 2 equals 4. What does x equal?
1.
So 1 plus 2 equals 4? Try again.
Oh,
2. So let's go to 2, and our table set's good. So I'm going to go up to 2, and that's my answer. And what do we see? What are our law values? Are they different or are they the same?
The same.
They're the same. Okay, so that's all you're looking for. So if you're dealing with a multiple choice question, you don't have to go through the steps. If you don't want to, you can go straight to your table and look at your 4 multiple choice answers and see if the y values are the same. So you can do this for equals and, take your ear thing out, please, sir.
When she's talking,
Ma'am.
Yeah.
take your ear.
You can do this with inequalities also. You just have to make sure if you end up dividing by a negative, what happens to the sign? It flips. Okay, number 7. Let me make this not so big. And matter of fact, here we go. When you divide by a negative, what happens to the inequality? It flips. So negative 2/8 reduces to what?
4.
No, 4 times 8 is 32. No. 2 goes into 2 how many times? 1, and then into 8? 4. Okay, so again, if you can't reduce, which from listening, you use the alpha x or the alpha y equals, depending on which calculator you have. So negative 2/8, press enter, and the calculator will reduce for you. And which side is my x on? Is it on the correct side?
No.
No. So when you read it, is the alligator eating the x?
Yes.
Yes. So is the x greater or less than? Greater. But of course that is a less than symbol. So the chances of you making an error graphing increases. So it's a good idea to flip it around. And what's the first thing? Do you need to do this on paper? Yeah, you need to write it down. So that you don't make a mistake. Closed circle or open circle? Close. And which way?
Right.
To the right. And of course it'll auto-populate the point. And number 8. So what are we going to do? Divide by 10. Divide by 10. And so we don't flip it, but what side's facing the x? Open or closed? Open. So when I rewrite, I'm going to make it open. And what does negative 5/10 reduce to?
Negative 1.
Negative 1/2. And so my answer is C. Okay, number 9. What's my first step?
Add 9.
Plus 2.
Opposite of a positive 2 is
Plus.
a negative.
Negative 2.
Because 2 plus 2 is 4. Does it make it go away? So 2 minus 2 makes it go away. So I have negative q is less than 6. Now what? What's happening to the q?
It's becoming a negative.
It's negative. So basically there is a negative what in front of it? What number? 1.
So just
Do you want me to confiscate yours? If I told him to take out his, don't you think you need to take out yours? Negative 1. Negative 1. So Q is what? Is it still less than?
no.
No, it's going to be greater than negative 6. Okay, number 10. What's my first step? And this is where the 9 came in.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So add 9, add 9. So negative 9x is less than equal to what? 15. And then we divide by negative 9. And those of you who stink at reducing, don't guess, put it in the calculator. So x is less than or greater than?
Greater than.
Greater than or equal to
5/3.
5/3. Negative 5/3. So 3 goes into 15 5 times, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. Open or closed?
Close.
Closed, because it equals. And negative 5/3, of course it'll populate that, and it is greater, so which way are we going to shade? To the right. Okay. Number 11. So we can actually do 2 things. We need to distribute, right? And get rid of that 5. We can go ahead and get rid of it. So what's the opposite of adding 5?
Minus 5.
Subtracting 5. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. So what is negative 4 times 3x? Negative 12x. Negative 4 times negative 2?
Positive 8.
Positive 8. And it's going to be less than equal to what?
1.
1. 6 minus 5 is 1. What's next?
Minus 8, right?
Minus 8. So, negative 12x is less than equal to what?
Negative 9.
Nope.
Negative 7.
Negative 7. The signs are opposite. You subtract and take the sign of the larger number. And then we're dividing by negative 12. And because we divided by a negative, we need to do what to this?
Flip the sign.
Flip it. And what kind of number is 7? Starts with a P.
Problem.
Prime. It's a prime number. So, and 2 times 7 is 14, so we're done. We just need to make it 7 over 12.
Yeah, so it didn't change.
Doesn't change, correct. Okay? Got it? Number 12. We're getting to our functions. Is this a function?
Yeah, no,
Which one is a function?
all of them but D.
A, C, D.
So we're looking for one that does not show a function. So,
C and D.
C don't show a
You
function.
just need one. D.
C does show a function.
No, it don't. Because
B.
C? Yes, it
okay,
does.
so because these are both open circles, it's a function. If this line had been, say for instance, right here, and then that would not be a function. Okay, but C is a function. Yes, sir. If it's an emergency, yes. Otherwise, we got 3 more problems. Okay, so number 12. So which one is my answer as far as my statement of why it's a function?
B.
There's at least one x value that has more than one y value. That is correct. So a relationship passes the vertical line test. That describes a function. Each input value corresponds with exactly 1. That describes a function. And there is not a vertical line test. Again, that describes a function. Okay, almost done. Number 13. Is that a function?
No.
No. Why?
The zeros.
Because the zeros repeat. And then on our answer, what's our answer? A. More than one y value is associated with the x value. Perfect. Number 14. Is 14 a function?
No.
No. And it can't pass the vertical line test if it is a vertical line. And then what's our statement?
B.
B.
B. There's an input value that corresponds with more than one. Very good. And so again, the other 3 statements describe a function. 15. C of 0. So when you want to find C of 0, first off, is that a function? Yes, that's a function. Because if it's not a function, we wouldn't do this. So C of 0, what you're asking is if your ordered pair, what is the y value of your ordered pair for the function when x equals 0?
2. 0.
Very good. It's right here, and so x equals 0 and y equals 2. So your answer is 2.
0.
Is there any letters on the answer?
0.
No, because you're substituting x in 0 in for x. You don't. It's just 2.
You want to be a negative?
Yes, thank you. You are correct. Negative 2. 16. Find b of 5. As far as on your semester exam, this one is not going to be a super easy one like this one. So you want to go ahead and do both using the calculator, even though for this one I probably would not. So when we want to know what b of 5 is, we want to know what equals 5?
X.
X. So 3/5 x, and then plus negative 6. So I'm just going to do minus 6. And I'm going to the table when x equals 5. And what does my y equal?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. And then number 17. And just real quick by hand, 3/5 times 5, what happens to the 5s?
Cancel out.
Cancel, and 3 minus 6 is the -3. So with the squared, I would definitely use the calculator. 3x squared plus 5x, unless it was 0, because that one's super easy. Second table, and I'm looking for when x equals what? -2. And I get positive 2. And this is the same thing. My function is 2 of m, and how many points if there is 32 shots made. So I'm going to put the 32 in for m. So if I made 32 shots, what is 32 times 2?
64.
So I made 64 points. And so you need to label your answer. 64 points. Questions?
Nope.
Very good.